Quaid Azam, Part 312. The minister without portfolio said that HMG would then have to consider the position. Mr. Jinnah said he must make it clear that a decision by the federal court would not be binding on the Muslim League. It seemed to him that the Constituent Assembly would decide by a large Hindu majority to refer the matter to the federal court and would be bound by the federal court's ruling. The Muslim League could not therefore be a party to such a reference, as they were not prepared to be bound by it. Apart from this, he was not in a position to say anything on behalf of the Muslim League, but he would certainly consider the position with his counsel. He thanked the British government for doing their best to secure an agreement. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru said that the Congress would of course require time to consider the statement which had been read, and he could not give any answer, though there was certain things he would wish to say. The statement was he considered an amendment of the statement of May 16th and went beyond it. The Congress had proceeded on the basis of that statement throughout. The Cabinet Mission and the Viceroy would bear out his statement that the Congress had from the very beginning pointed out that they discussed it on a certain basis. Subsequently, they were told that no amendment of change would be made. Now this elucidation took the statement a stage further. Clearly, it created a new situation for the Congress. He did not know what their response would have been if this statement had been made originally. The new statement quoted paragraph 19V and 19VIII, but not paragraph 15 of the statement of May 16th. Taken together, these paragraphs might bear a different interpretation from which the paragraph 19 would bear it by itself. The Prime Minister said that it was not at all clear to him on what grounds that view was advanced. Paragraph 15 dealt with the fundamental principles to be embodied in the Constitution. Paragraph 19 dealt with the methods of arriving at decisions about the Constitution. These appear to be quite different and separate things, and the principles laid down for one need not to be the same as those for the other. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru said that the view of the Congress was that, taken together, these two sections might mean something different. Any statement by His Majesty's government must obviously be carefully considered by the Congress. The Prime Minister observed that the present statement dealt only with the interpretation of the document of May 16th. The Congress themselves had placed an interpretation on it. He could not see why an interpretation by HMG extended the document if an interpretation by Congress did not do so. While Pandit Nehru replied that HMG, as the authors of the documents, were capable of extending it, while the Congress could not do so, Pandit Nehru said that he did not know what reaction of the Constituent Assembly would be. Normally speaking, a body such as that resented outside pressure and reacted from it. Compulsion destroyed cooperation. The attitude of the various groups and the provinces had been strongly expressed. The Sikhs, for example, had held strong views, and the Congress were personally involved in the question of interpretation. He could assure Mr. Jinnah and Mr. Liaquat Ali Khan that all on the Congress side were anxious to find ways out honourable for both parties, because they did not wish to waste the rest of their lives in a conflict. They could not conceive any constitution imposed over one part of the country by another. It was not surprising that they had to face difficulties. He did not take a dismal view of the past or the future, and he thought that the unnecessarily dismal view had been taken. There was great danger of solving one difficulty and raising another of the vaster dimensions in the process. To some extent, it was true that this was a conflict between Indian points of views, but he was convinced that unless the Indians had a free hand, other difficulties would arise.